Hello and welcome back to the TestCenter IQ training series. Today we'll focus on a powerful new tool, the Time Series Chart. The Time Series Chart is another type of view in TestCenter IQ. This view supports charting both aggregate and individual statistics over time. For example, a particular port frame rate counter could be charted as a single series for all the ports or as individual series for each port on the same graph. Not only can you choose between aggregating and individual statistics, but also combine the different types of statistics. For example, traffic L2, L3, or L4, L7 statistics on the same chart as a protocol statistic, or additionally, even an event marker, such as a marker showing the time at which an apply happened, or a snapshot, or a BGP route was withdrawn. Additionally, all these features can be dynamically enabled and disabled by the user, whether they're on a live chart or the user is doing analysis on a completed test. The time charts are available for live data, for snapshot data, or for a completed test, so at the end of the test. In the case of the snapshot, the data is shown for the period over which the snapshot spans. The time series chart is again just another view in TestCenter IQ and therefore supports the same common controls. The time series supports the Actions menu. Within the Actions menu, you find the Edit functionality. Edit is where all the customization of the chart is done. Add a new series using the plus button, or to edit the values in the series, whether it be chart type, the counter that's chosen, how to group the statistics. All of this is done in the Edit section of this dialog. Other options are to choose a linear or a log scale, to label the axis. And speaking of axes, not only is there a left side y-axis, but there's also the option to add a right side axis, with the x-axis always being time, of course. And then the chart can be, the name of the chart can be edited. All these will be shown in greater detail in the demo. One other option within the Actions menu is the Export As. This lets the user export the current view of the chart, however it's zoomed in, edited, the actual visual view of the chart as either a PNG, a JPEG, or an SVG file. One last thing to highlight in the supported common controls is that within the Actions menu, there is, of course, the Save As functionality. Once edits have been made to a chart, and this little tag of not saved shows up, if you want to reuse the chart, the user would save the chart with a new name, and it'll be included in the library of user views. Now let's take a look at the time series chart in TestCenter IQ. Let's quickly look at our chart views by filtering on Only Chart. Now I see there are 33 system-defined chart views, and I've also saved 7 user-defined. But let's start from scratch with a blank chart. Now this chart is being applied against the data from my already completed test. You can see the time period that I ran the test. Currently I have no series added to the chart, and I have a single event. Let's dig deeper into this. First of all, I want to add a series to this chart. So I've clicked the Edit menu. I see that only the test events have been added to the chart. So let me add a series by clicking the plus button. I can search for statistics, or I can just open each section. So let's search again. And I will choose to put the total transmit count for frames. I can do this for the whole test and add a single series, or I can choose by port name, either all the ports as a single series, which would aggregate the values, or I can choose only a single port, or for convenience, I can choose all the ports, but add as multiple series. Add as multiple series will add a series for each item that I've selected. So one line, one series line for this port, one series line for this port. I add as multiple series. And there's my labels. I can change the colors. Let's make it darker. And for each series, I can click, see the details of my series. If I want to change a series to be, for example, a scatter chart, a spline chart, area chart, I can make this one an area chart. We'll leave this one a line chart. I've also got a name. I can say that this is just my port 1-1, 2, and I can name this one my port 1. I can choose linear or log scale for these, and I can label the axis. I can add another series on the right side. Let's say instead of frames, I wanted to add generate a transmit count in frames per second. I can add this for the entire test as a single series. Let's do it for the whole test as a single series. Second axis, and apply the changes. Now everything I've configured will plot. As you can see, originally I applied this test, but I didn't actually start the traffic. So let me zoom in. And now I have my second axis here, where I've plotted the total TX rate. I can turn that on and off. Then I have my port 1, which is my line plotted. And then I have my port 2, which is the line that's plotted. And then I have my port 1, which was actually an area graph. Now I can continue to clean this up if I say, oh, I don't really want this to be an area chart. Let's make it a line chart again. I'll apply my changes. And now these two are line charts. Let's take this one off to clean it up. Now I have this chart. It looks the way I want, and I want to include it in an email I'm sending out. So I'll export it. I'll save it as a PNG, export. And so now my downloads folder, I open the file and you can see the graph. I mentioned before that there are event filters. Click here. I can turn on and off the events. I don't have snapshots, or I do have snapshots in this test. Snapshot complete, snapshot complete. I can zoom in and take a look at the area around the snapshot. Now this is the blank chart. That means start from scratch, add any series for any counter that was collected during the test. If the counter wasn't collected at any point during the test, then of course there's nothing to plot on the chart, but you can see the range of counters that can be selected from. The system charts on the left are just starter charts that were created primarily per protocol. If I open a BGP test, you can see that the starter chart in here is a session up and a keep alive count. If the chart doesn't have events, I can add the events, add the event series. And I'll choose which events I want to see on the chart. And I can zoom in and take a look at my events. So BGP break port link occurred at this point. Then I can look at my counters and do my analysis. Again, all these charts that are available as system charts are similar in that they provide usually 2 or more series as the most popular, most used series for the user. It's an easy starting point, but anything can again be added to this chart. So from here, I can also add, say on the right side, let's go back and add one of the port counters. Just want to know what this port looks like. And now I'm charting both my transmit count and my keep alive and my session up count all on the same chart. So the possibilities are relatively endless for combining the charts to do the analysis. As you can see, if I hover over the data points, get the exact value and the timestamp of the point. If I like this chart and I want to save it, I'll do a save as my chart, and now it's added to my view library. I take a look, there it is. It's highlighted in blue because it's already in my view workspace, my profile workspace. If I clear this, I can see exactly what's highlighted that I'm already using. So let's wrap this up with a couple of tips. An important fact to remember is the amount of live data being collected directly affects what's seen in the time series chart. A completed test that's run for example maybe 2 hours but has a data storage limitation set of 15 minutes will only have 15 minutes of data to show in that time series chart. An example of optimizing the use of the chart would be to decrease the number of counters being collected to those that are most interesting for the analysis, and then to increase the number of minutes of data being stored. Another important feature to remember is that each y-axis supports a single unit type. So for example, the left side y-axis might be frames per second, the right side is bytes. If you want to change that, then delete the series from that axis and start again. Counters that can be added to each axis are filtered in the edit dialog based on the current units for that axis. Thank you for your time and look for more training videos to follow.